Hello, it's Marissa, your Usborne book lady, and I would like to take a minute to share with you some of my favorite books for preschool and kindergarten age. And as I mentioned in the welcome video, we have nearly 2,000 titles in our Usborne catalog. I cannot possibly share all of the preschool and kindergarten age appropriate books with you, so I am going to select just a few of my favorites to share with you. If at any point you have questions or would like suggestions specific to the ages and the interests of the kids in your life, please don't hesitate to ask me. You can send me a private message, or if you are in a Facebook party right now, please ask on the event wall, because then everyone that's at the party will learn from your questions and from the answers to your questions. First, I would like to talk about two of our most popular combined volumes, and what that means is that there are several books in one binding. So first we have Ted and Friends, and these are our phonics readers, and there are 12 books in one binding with a CD that reads the stories. And so these are, like, as I said, there are phonics readers, so they're designed for kids that are starting to learn to read on their own. They have really funny, silly, rhyming stories, so they also make really great read-alouds. They're really great for kids that like Dr. Seuss, but they're also sort of not as long and not as fun for grown-ups as Dr. Seuss can sometimes be. So these are a great alternative to Dr. Seuss if you're sort of Seussed out. And I also like that they have flaps that make them a little bit more engaging, but the flaps actually help tell the story. They're not just there just to be flaps. So in this page, the egg is falling from the nest. You open up the flap and the egg has fallen. So as I mentioned, there are 12 stories in one binding with an accompanying CD that reads the story, and they're only $19.99. That's a really great deal, because if you buy these phonics readers individually, they're $6.99 a piece. We also have another combined volume of our phonics readers called Cal Takes a Bow that has different stories in it. This is the complete book of Farmyard Tales, and this has 20 stories in one binding with an accompanying CD for $24.99, and this is an even better deal. Let me tell you why. Because this is a dual reader, and what that means is that you can read just the top line and the story will still make sense. So when you have a younger child and they have a very short attention span, or if it's 20 minutes past bedtime and you just need to read a story and be done with it, you read just the top line, you're done, and you know, that's it. Short, quick, over. When they're a little bit older and they want more details, you read the top line and the bottom lines, and they get the details that they want. When they're even older and they're reading independently, this top line is about a first, second grade reading level. So they can read the whole top line, or read the top line, read the whole story independently if they want. Or they can read the top line, read the bottom line, you can read the bottom lines, and then the story is like a more engaging reader than See Spot Run. The other thing that's really great about this is that this book will last you for a really long time. You could potentially be reading this book from the time that your child is 18 months through when they're about 6 or 7 years old. Chances are the book will be falling apart by then. However, when you buy an Usborne book through a consultant, it has a lifetime 50% replacement guarantee. So that means when your child is 6 years old and picks up this book and wants to read it independently and the pages start falling out, all you have to do is give me a call or send me an email, and we can replace it for you at half price. We have another series called the Look Inside series. This is Look Inside a Castle. I believe this is the newest in the series. So this is a Lift the Flap series, and all of the books in the series are really cool, really engaging, really informative nonfiction. Some of the other titles in the series are Look Inside Your Body, Look Inside Our World, Look Inside an Airport. They're just really fun. We have another Lift the Flap series that's similar called See Inside, and those are designed for older kids, for school age kids, and some of the books in that series would be appropriate for preschool age. If you have any questions about which one would be better for your child, please don't hesitate to ask me. Another one of our best-selling series is the Big Book of series. This is the Big Book of Stars and Planets. As you can see, it's a pretty big book. That's why it's called the Big Book of series. The other thing that's really cool about this series is that throughout the book there are several pages that fold out into a 4-page spread. So when you have an already big book and it spreads out to 4 pages, it's pretty darn impressive. So we have the big book of trains, the big book of big dinosaurs, the big book of big machines. We have a lot of books in the series, and they're all really cool. We also have a Lift the Flap Questions and Answers series. This is the Lift the Flap Questions and Answers about dinosaurs. This is one of our newer books in the series. And as you can see, it's Lift the Flaps Questions and Answers about dinosaurs. And these are a little bit more sporadic, little more loosely organized than the Look Inside series. They really are just a compilation of questions and answers. So, how big was the biggest dinosaur? As long as 3 buses and as heavy as 14 elephants. And then it goes on to explain more. So these are really fun series, really good for those kids who just want to know why, what. The Big Book of Little Stories is one of my favorite of our one of my favorite of our compilations. This book is really cool. It has all sorts of different stories in it. It has some fairy tales. It has a couple of Aesop's fables, 1 or 2 original stories. But my favorite thing about it is that it has several retellings of fairy tales by an author named Susanna Davidson, who does a really great job retelling fairy tales. And included in this book is her retelling of the 3 Little Pigs, which is my absolute favorite retelling of the 3 Little Pigs to read aloud. And of course, we have many picture books that would be appropriate for preschoolers. I could never even begin to talk about all the preschool and kindergarten age picture books that we have, so I picked just a few of my favorites. First, I have A Tale of Two Beasts. This is a brand new title that just came out in January. I love this book so much. This book tells the same story from 2 different perspectives. The perspective of this little girl and the perspective of this little animal. And it does a really great job of showing how the same story can be perceived very differently by 2 different people. It's a really great lesson for preschoolers to learn. Bob is a Unicorn. This is written by one of our authors, Michelle Nelson Schmidt. We have several books by Michelle Nelson Schmidt, and they are all fabulous. They are all worth having. Bob is a Unicorn is probably my favorite right now. She has a new book coming out that I haven't gotten yet, but Bob is a Unicorn is a beautiful story that is all about being true to yourself and following your heart and doing what's right for you, no matter what anybody else says. And it's a beautiful story. I love this story. Dan the Taxi Man is a really great story with a really great rhythm. The whole story follows the same rhythm. Here's Dan, beep, beep, the taxi man, going to the show and picking up the band. Climb inside while you still can with Dan, beep, beep, the taxi man. The whole story has that rhythm. It's a perfect read aloud for preschool and kindergarten age. And then How Deep is the Sea? This is one of our Pipkin books. Pipkin is a very small penguin with very big questions. And in this one, he wants to know how deep the sea is. And he takes a submersible down to the very bottom of the sea. It's very cool. And all of the Pipkin books come with a little poster in the back that fold out to explain further the concepts that are learned in the book. Okay, so that's all I have to share with you today. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. If you like this video and you would like to learn more about our books, please like my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/booksbymarissa. And you can find this and all of our nearly 2,000 titles at www.booksbymarissa.com. Thanks so much.